All right, today we're going to decode three major moves from the fintech giants Affirm, Payoneer, and Block. Now, these aren't just little updates. They're major signals about the future of global credit, how we all work, and, how we spend our money.
I mean, it's a great question, isn't it? The pace is just relentless. So that's what we're here to do. Cut through all that noise and figure out what actually matters.
Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to look at three huge shifts. First, how credit is getting way smarter with data. Second, how companies are basically erasing borders to hire the best talent. And third, the absolutely staggering scale of modern digital lending. And for each one, we're going to look at a company that's really leading the pack.
First up, Affirm. Now, you almost certainly know them as the buy now, pay later company. But a couple of their recent moves, well, they show they're thinking way bigger than just that little button at checkout.
So this really gets to the heart of it, right? When the economy feels a bit shaky, making the right call on who to lend to, that is everything. So what's Affirm doing to basically future-proof its business?
And this slide, it really shows the huge shift perfectly. The old way relied on these kind of stale credit reports. It's a look in the rearview mirror. What Affirm's doing now is plugging straight into real-time financial data. They're looking at an applicant's current cash flow, which gives them a way more accurate picture of whether they can actually pay back a loan today.
And the goals here are pretty crystal clear. They want to approve more people who can responsibly handle the credit, which of course lowers Affirm's own risk. They're basically building a whole new model for what credit looks like, all while sticking to their big promise of no hidden or surprise fees.
But look, that smarter underwriting, that's only part of the puzzle. Affirm is making another massive play, and this one is aimed squarely at the single biggest bill that most of us have every single month.
And that brings us to Rent BNPL. The idea is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Instead of that one giant payment you have to make on the first of the month, tenants can break it down into smaller, more manageable installments. I mean, for millions of people, this could be an absolute game changer for handling their monthly cash flow.
So what this all points to is a really clear evolution. Affirm is moving beyond just being a button you click on at online checkout. It's becoming a much broader, smarter credit platform that's weaving itself into the biggest parts of our financial lives. Okay, let's pivot. Our second story is also all about a major expansion, but we're going to switch gears from consumer credit to the global workforce. Let's talk about a huge move from Payoneer.
So here's the headline. Payoneer went out and acquired a Dublin-based startup called Boundless. And what Boundless does, well, it's a service that has become absolutely essential in the remote work world we're all living in. That service is called an employer of record, or EOR for short. Basically, an EOR is a company that legally hires people for you in another country. It's genius, really, because it solves this massive headache of hiring internationally. The EOR handles all the tricky stuff, the cross-border payroll, taxes, benefits, all that compliance stuff.
Now, to really get why this is such a huge deal for Payoneer, you have to look at what they were before. For years, they were known as the universal wallet, the go-to platform if you were a business that needed to pay people across borders. But with this acquisition, boom, they transform into something much bigger, the universal HR backend. Suddenly, they're not just about paying your global team. Now they're helping you hire them, manage them, and grow with them, and do it all by the book. So why does this matter so much? Because it takes Payoneer from being just fintech rails, the pipes the money flows through, and turns them into a full-stack, end-to-end partner for any company that wants to operate globally. It's a much deeper kind of relationship.
All right, for our final story, we're turning to an absolute titan of fintech. Let's talk about Block. You probably remember them as Square, and a number they just released that is, well, it's just jaw-dropping. Just take a second and look at that number. Over $200 billion. That is how much credit Block has extended across its entire ecosystem. I mean, the scale here is just, it's hard to even wrap your head around. It's a truly staggering figure, and it immediately makes you ask, okay, how? How on earth did they do that? Where is all of that lending power coming from? Well, the answer is, it's not just one thing. It's a powerful ecosystem of products, all working together. You've got Cash Out Borrow for smaller, short-term loans to people. You've got their massive Buy Now, Pay Later service, Afterpay, for all your shopping. And then, of course, there's Square Loans, which is pumping vital working capital into small and medium businesses.
And here's the really big takeaway from all this. For Block, credit is not some little side project, it is a core economic engine of their entire business. Hitting this milestone proves how deeply their products are woven into the fabric of the economy, and they're now competing head-to-head with the big, old-school financial institutions.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. We've looked at Affirm's smart credit, Payoneer's global expansion, and Block's massive lending machine. Let's pull it all together and talk about the big takeaway.
So let's bring it all home. Affirm is turning its underwriting technology into a real competitive advantage. Payoneer is adding these essential HR muscles right on top of its payment infrastructure. And Block, well, Block has officially cemented its position as a modern credit giant. The common thread here is that every single one of them is strategically expanding far beyond what they originally started as.
What these stories really show is the power of a clear strategy. In a super noisy market, these companies are making focused, intelligent moves that are literally reshaping the entire financial landscape.
And we'll leave you with this final thought that I think just perfectly captures this moment. The fintech ecosystem just keeps thickening. The lines between different services are blurring, platforms are becoming more and more integrated, and the entire financial world is just growing more complex and, frankly, more fascinating every single day.